Cousin Sam and I were traveling separately, which gave me time to switch gears from the intense story I'd been covering about a Rhode Island lawyer, his wife, and their daughter murdered with a crossbow by their financial advisor. Other travelers, wearing smart suits and fancy watches, clearly were Western businessmen, swooping into Warsaw to help jumpstart capitalism after 5 decades of communist rule. Poland was suddenly a global rock star after the trade union Solidarity and allies toppled the communist government, spurring a domino effect all the way to the Berlin Wall and spreading democracy throughout Eastern Europe. On the flight, we passed from Germany into Poland, and I half expected the view out my window to show a shadow on the ground below, like the newspaper maps that had depicted the Soviet bloc in a menacing shade. I was eager to see Sam in action on his home turf. I'd been reading about Warsaw, the city where my grandparents met in the time of the last Tsar. It was hard to believe my family had lived here for hundreds of years. I turned back to cribbing on the history of this place, where kings welcomed Jews, and one in the 1200s had granted Jews civil rights unequaled anywhere. Another king, Kazimierz, the namesake of our ancestral hometown, codified those rights, spurring further Jewish population growth, which the court saw as a means of increasing literacy and entrepreneurship. By World War II, Jews comprised the largest minority in Poland and lived in higher concentrations than anywhere in the world, despite Poland's proud reputation as the most Catholic country in Europe. Poles historically called themselves the chosen people, and their country the Christ of nations, designated to suffer for Europe's sins. Poland's historic narrative of victimhood is one of those generalizations that goes beyond stereotypes, like the French are romantic and Italians are volatile. The martyr identity aligns with Poland's history of extended domination by foreign occupiers and homegrown strongmen. Its military history is also imbued with a messianic narrative. For instance, the decisive victory in 1683 by the Polish king and military leader Jan Sobieski and forces of the Holy Roman Empire over the Ottoman army not only saved Vienna, but enshrined Sobieski as Europe's savior of Christendom.